In this video, I have 5 compositional tips that you can use with any camera, including and especially your phones. What's up, my friends? My name is Pi. Welcome to SLR Lounge. This is your place for no-nonsense photography education, and I thought it'd be fun to do a series of just highly relatable education that we can all use to get back to the fun of photography on any device. If y'all enjoy, please let me know in the comments below and I'll be sure to do more. Now let's dive into tip number 1. I want you guys to turn on grids regardless of what camera you're using. So look, you can do this on your DSLR or mirrorless setup. Just consult your manual. For now, I'm gonna focus on the phone side. So if you are an older iPhone user or you have an Android device, what I want you to do is go to your app store and download Lightroom Mobile. Lightroom Mobile is actually free and it's a very powerful editor. Plus, if you get into photography, you're probably gonna want the full version anyway. But what a lot of us don't know is that Lightroom Mobile has a very powerful camera built in. It's at the bottom right. I want you to click that camera and then you'll notice at the top right of the screen, there's 3 little dots. Once you click those dots, you'll see a little menu that has a grid icon. I want you to push that icon and it's gonna show you 3 different overlays for composing your shots. The first one is a square overlay, which I'm not really a huge fan of. Then you have rule of thirds and then you have the golden ratio. The second 2 I use quite a bit. Now, I would recommend use these to line up your shots to compose your frames, but don't always lean on just rule of thirds for every single shot. Now, quick side note, if you have a newer iPhone, these grids are already built into the native camera app. And to enable them, all you have to do is go into your camera settings. You're just gonna go to settings, type in camera, and then go to camera settings where you're gonna see grid. Turn on grid to see the same grid overlay in the native app. My personal preference and advice is whenever possible, use the native iPhone app as its computational photography is generally better than most other apps. But I'll talk about that more in a separate video. For now, let's go to tip number 2. One of my favorite techniques and accessories is just to use either my phone or an ND filter to create reflections. Now look, if you're a serious photographer, it's very likely that you already have a square ND like this one. It's not only great for actually its purpose, but it's fantastic as a reflective object. And I like using it a little bit more than a phone because it gives me a larger surface area. But your phone works perfectly as well, especially when you're shooting landscape with a mirrorless or DSLR setup. I'll simply hold this right underneath or next to the lens and create a reflection using the phone. Now, if you're shooting with your phone, just either grab your ND filter or grab someone else's phone to create a reflection like we're doing in this shot. These reflections not only add visual interest, but in this particular scene, I'm actually using it to conceal the light switch on the left side of the frame as I compose my son James looking out the window. Okay, tip number 3. When you're shooting a landscape image, one of my favorite things to do is find that one person to add a sense of story and scale to your image. Now in this particular scene, there's a paddle boarder a couple hundred feet out from the shore. And what I'm doing is lowering my camera angle so I can kind of shoot the paddle boarder against a clean sky so I can see the shape of his form and body. Now what this does, it adds a sense of story, but it also adds scale and shows how grand the image is. As a little bonus tip, I'm gonna rotate the camera upside down and I'm gonna bring the phone lens close to the rocks in front of me with the lens basically almost touching to create a nice little foreground element there where we can add a little bit of extra depth and visual interest into the shot. Number 4, minimalism. Minimalism is one of my favorite compositional techniques because it kind of demonstrates that what you choose to exclude from your frame is just as important as what you include in your shot. So for example, if you look at the wide angle shot of this scene, it's really nothing to kind of look at, and it's definitely not a shot I'd want to print or hang up on a wall. But if I zoom in just to the palm trees and I leave plenty of negative space in the shot, then this minimalistic image becomes a really nice piece, and combined with a few other images, it would make for a great wall art display. Minimalism is wonderful for several reasons. Not only does the negative space lead into our subject matter, it also leaves plenty of open space for any type of website design, print, copy, etc. Finally, my last tip is to look up. And really this plays into the power of perspective. So in this scene, looking around, we're in a beautiful area, but sometimes the best shot is the one that's above you. And in this particular scene, in looking up, we get this really cool image where in the bottom half we have a palm tree that's kind of all nature, and in the top half we have this kind of man-made object, this roof with very interesting shapes. I love the juxtaposition of these two different elements, and it creates a fantastic fine art image. This entire concept plays into the power of perspective, which is all about showing basically images that are captured from non-eye level, what we're typically seeing just walking around. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, I'd love for you to follow me. So look, I'm gonna bring you bite-sized education on my TikTok and Instagram, which you can find at Born and Creative on TikTok and at PieJirsa on Instagram. If you like this concept and video, what I'll do is I'll bring those bite-sized pieces of education over here to YouTube, where I can explain everything full length and give you all the details. In the meantime, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.